Hi, funny reading you here. Must be destiny. Well then, let's continue our journey. This portion of the video will be covering essentially the third day of the harmonic, which is the siddhi. Yeah, let's get right to it. The 60-second siddhi, impeccability. Cosmometry, the language of perfection. What a word that is, cosmometry. That's pretty cool. The siddhic state of the 60-second gene key is impossible to understand intellectually. As the 60-second siddhi dawns, all sense of continuity in your normal life is broken. In the true siddhic state, all trace of your prior genetic condition is erased. Enlightenment is not only a spiritual and mystical event, but also a chemical one, and that the very biochemistry of your body undergoes profound alterations. When you disappear into the siddhic state, and that is precisely how it happens, what is left behind is simply pure consciousness, operating through a specific genetic vehicle. This is generally referred to as the death of the ego. Once consciousness ceases to identify itself as existing, the behavior of human vehicle is beyond the grasp of the intellect. Such behavior is said to be impeccable. The word impeccable is often misunderstood when used in reference to true masters. The most common mistake we make is to believe that one who manifests the siddhic state must now behave in some sort of holy way. There's a widespread assumption that the so-called divine states of consciousness come with a sanctified code of conduct. If you truly understand the nature of the 60-second siddhi of impeccability, then you will see how laughable this notion is. To be impeccable means to be exempt from doing sin, which sounds as though it entails a certain level of purity and virtue. However, something profound needs to be understood here. One who has disappeared into the siddhic state has truly disappeared. There truly is no one at home. Pure consciousness is at play with this being, so whatever they say or do is beyond reproach. If a man were to commit murder in the siddhic state, which would actually be impossible, he would be beyond reproach. Of course, society would punish him and humanity would judge his actions as evil or wrong, but this does not detract from the fact that he is beyond reproach, because there is no he. You would only be punishing an empty body or vessel. This is the meaning of impeccability. Though I feel it's a strange analogy and other analogies could be used, I feel it does kind of jostle the point directly enough. As we have seen through the 60-second gift, communication at the more refined levels becomes precise, especially through the medium of language. The 60-second siddhi concerns the use of language at a level beyond our ken, our keen. Every single word has its frequency and vibration, and the order and syntax of your diction creates a certain aura. At the siddhic level, words do not come via the mind anymore. They are not thoughts that become words. They emerge directly from the void, naked and pure. If you look at the sayings of the great masters, you may often find that they say contradictory things about the siddhic state. For example, one might say that enlightenment can only be found through intense seeking, whilst another may say that nothing you do will ever bring about this state. There appears to be many discrepancies between the words spoken by sages. This is because each still filters his or her experience through their own background or personal history, language, and culture. However, when someone manifests the 60-second siddhi, they create an exact linguistic science of enlightenment. It is often amusing to note how closely related are the shadow and the siddhi. Thus, such people will use the intellect to defeat itself through pure logic. They will also use language to demonstrate how futile language actually is, for it is language and thought that underpin the very illusion of the human state in the first place. I have to agree with that part. The 60-second siddhi may appear to be highly intellectual, and indeed it will appear in particular to men, who are more mentally polarized than women. These are the sages like Socrates, whose logical argumentation cannot be defeated because consciousness itself is using the left side of the brain with impeccable precision. In such cases, language itself can be used as a means to bring about surrender within another. These people are adepts at using language in extraordinary ways in order to highlight the grand illusion in which the human mind operates. But even more than this, the 60-second siddhi brings the understanding that every cell within the universe is a divine word. This profound truth allows such a being to become a master of divine language. Because the divine alphabet is so simple, its true master can respond to anything and anyone, anywhere, with exact precision. The science underlying all creation is sacred geometry, as we spoke about earlier. The eternal truths contained in sacred geometry untie all human sciences, arts, and approaches to understanding through either left or right brain. There is a cosmometry behind life that choreographs all actions. The closer you become to fully awakening, the more harmonious your life flows with this cosmometry. When you finally merge into the ocean of consciousness, you achieve complete oneness with the divine cosmometry. Everything you think, say, or do is no longer done by you, but by the whole. Therefore, it is done impeccably. The real difference between the siddhi and the shadow is the complete absence of fear, which is the absence of self-identification. Everything you think, say, or do is no longer done by you, but by the whole. Therefore, it is done impeccably. Divine cosmometry is the language of perfection. It is the manifestation of impeccability in which your every movement and breath becomes an emanation of pure light, of the pure light. Your whole being is simply made up of living, intelligent lines of force that move and flow without resistance. There is no longer anything out of place within your being. There is no longer any need, agenda, or discomfort. All is exactly as it should be, in you and in everyone else. The embodiment of this truth leads to ultimate peace. You have crossed the great divide in the throat and can never again return to the illusion of separation. You have entered into the language of light itself to see the one word in all words, the fathomless, the ineffable, the wordless, the impeccable beauty of being. Well, that's really nice. I like how it generally just continues to get simple and simpler and simpler and simpler. That was good. And that will conclude the third day of our harmonic, which will be the fourth episode of our, fourth phase or fourth portion of this episode of 1320 Time Stream. Stay tuned for the fifth, which will be the fourth day of the harmonic.